how many times have you tried to travel somewhere?
What's up? Welcome everybody to Studio Wesley Live, our weekly hangout for community and connection in the Studio Wesley world. I'm Derek. We missed a couple of weeks because, Easter and all of that stuff. And then I went out of the country and all of that. But we're back this week. So glad everybody's here. Taylor and Grace and Neil. So I'm going to ask you to say hello. Tell us how you're doing. And the question that I'd love for you to enter the space in tonight is when is it too hot? Like the temperature. When is it too hot? Neil, how you doing? What a question for me to ask you right now.
I know, Derek. You really just know where I'm at in the world. Okay, so first of all, hello everybody. In my usual home here in Jacksonville, Florida, and it is a little too hot. And I'll tell you why. Because our air conditioning unit she's struggling. It's set to 74, and it is basically the same temperature outside as it is inside. So I think if I checked my little hygrometer, it's probably about 85 or 86 in my room right now. And I think it is too hot to the point where it, like, how can I put it? When you're like sweating, but you're not like dripping sweat, like whenever your clothes just start to lightly stick to you, that is what too hot constitutes, right? Because full on like sheen sweat, like that's one thing, right? That is one thing. But when the clothes, you have to go like this, and you're like, like I don't know, that's it for me.
What's that temperature? What do you think? What do you think that temperature is?
I think it starts at like 77. I think that starts at 77 and then goes up from there.
Okay.
Hell yeah. See,
Zach agrees. Yeah.
Zach agrees. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all, Julian is in a mood, so it is what it is. I'm so sorry. I hate it, but Julian's out here. Thank you, Neil. Neil, I hope that the AC figures herself out soon, so that they're
on their way tomorrow. So
it should not be 87 or 81 or anything 80s in your house ever. Actually, I don't think there's a moment where it should ever be 80 degrees in anybody's house. Personally, not at all. Well, beautiful. Grace, how's it? When is it too hot?
I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I tend to have a lot of thoughts on most things, but I actually I mean, I think generally it's too hot when it's the product of global warming. I think it's too hot when it's the result of climate change instead of the Earth doing its natural thing. But also, um, I am somebody, so as a Floridian, I love the heat. Um, and I love like Florida humidity with the heat too. So like when I drive back to Lakeland for Florida conference, it's crazy. I'll end up like I'll roll my windows down and I feel the like moisture hit my lungs and I'm like, oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. Um, but I love the heat and I love the cold, but my body can't handle any of them. If anyone's familiar with Raynaud's or Raynaud's, depending on how people pronounce it, um, I just have horrible circulation. So like my hands go numb in the winter. Like I'm cold in my apartment right now and my joints hurt. But also with the heat, I just have like horrible sensory regulation. So I love the heat, but it doesn't love me back. So I think it's too hot if we don't have adequate resources around us. So I can't think of a certain temperature because like I love it. Like it can be in the 90s and I'm like, oh, this is the best. Like I have my like tiny clothes because Florida, I have like I don't know. Like if I have a nice like ice water, if there's like especially if you're by the beach and there's a breeze, like you have adequate resources. I love feeling like I'm melting on the beach. I don't love No, I love it. And that's the thing. Like I enjoy like playing with the sensory elements of it. But also like if I'm not like if I wanted to wear a suit that day to school, to work, whatever it is, and then I'm sweating, that's not only a problem for me, that's a problem for my suit because I'm gonna have to wash it sooner. So it's too hot when we don't have adequate resources to support our joy on God's green earth.
I think I heard you
Final
say
answer.
79 degrees. That's what I think I heard you say. 79.
No. If I have to pick a temperature, I'd say like probably beyond 84 is like when it gets to be like a problem. But it also depends on like where, like I'm in Atlanta right now, we're landlocked. So
you are
it feels a lot hotter.
Which is why chances are so small that I'd ever move there. Well,
they call it Hot Atlanta for a reason.
Right. Grace, I'm glad you're here.
They call it Hot Atlanta for a different reason, but
Taylor! Taylor, how's it going? When is it too hot?
I am doing well. Yeah, it's been a busy week, but it's weekend people, so can't complain. Too hot. I think my thought about this question is the same as Neil's, because like it's been a little hot recently, and like you can get like that little bit of like sweat on you, and like I've been like doing a lot like this recently, and I'm just like, geez, it's way too hot. So I think like when you get that little sweat and then you just feel like me, like you got like too much on you, it's just like that's when I think it's too hot. As far as the temperature though, I would maybe say like it depends on the humidity, but I would say like maybe 83. Anything above that with humidity just equals terror. So, yeah. So 83 above with humidity.
And what temperature did you say?
83.
83 degrees.
Yes.
So you think 83, Grace thinks 84, Neil thinks 77, and Derek thinks 70. The moment that it is 70 degrees, what are we even doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's wrong. And Julian agrees. That's why he's commenting. He's like, yes, 70 degrees. Yes. This is going to be so bad tonight.
He feels real strongly about the temperature. He's very unhappy.
All right. So we're going to go straight to highlight of the week. Let's go. Highlight of the week. It's our segment every week that folks on the panel share something that they've seen from the neighborhood to the nations that they want the Studio Wesley University to know about. I'm going to mute myself while Neil tells us about their highlight this week. So go for it, Neil.
Caught me mid-yawn there. Damn. All right, so my highlight is a follow-up to a low light, which I've done a couple of now. This is one that hits near and dear to Derek and I, but especially more dear to Derek. A few months ago, I mentioned how local brewery Intuition Aleworks is closing after, 16 years, basically? Yeah, because it started 2010, right? Yeah. So 16 years, the brewery 9 months ago put themselves up for sale. Earlier this year, they announced that they were just going to shutter it. And it's a sad time, right? Because and a lot of other places have unfortunately closed in that span of time. Literally since I last mentioned this, another brewery called Kingmaker literally closed down kind of suddenly a couple of weeks ago. A couple of restaurants like Bellwether shut down. A small woman-owned, like, kind of cutesy little craft store called Planet Circle closed as well. And Intuition hits the hardest because it was kind of like a titan of the craft beer industry here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I've really gotten to know a lot of the people who work there very well. And thankfully, they're not all terribly out of a job. A lot of them are actually coming over to work next door at Manifest in the back doing production because we have a lot of stuff going on. So that's pretty great. Like my friends Marty and Nick and Sergio and eventually some others are going to be back there helping out when they can, at least until they maybe want to find something else, whatever. But, we've made it abundantly clear to them that they have a place next door at Manifest. And they've also, over the last few weeks, been doing like little employee highlights, so, they'll reach out to an employee, Derek having been one of them. Derek had his own post, basically just talking about what Intuition has really meant to them over the last, 16 years. So it's really cool to see that and to see them honor the people that have worked so hard to make it such a wonderful space. And this Friday, April 24th, is their final Friday. It is the last Friday. They will be open. There's a huge concert. It's going to be a big blowout. And then as of Saturday, their business will basically be concluded. But the next Tuesday, they have basically a garage sale where you can go in and buy like glassware and equipment and furniture and all that other stuff. So that'll be pretty interesting. I'll definitely be there for that. But no, it's just super sad. So this is their last Friday. This past Saturday was their final Saturday, and now this is their last day. It's like ever since we mentioned it, we're like, oh yeah, cool. But that's a little bit farther down the road, and now we are at the end of the road. So it's a very sad time for us all. We'll all be very weepy about it and have a few beers and do some fireworks or something on Friday. But yeah, sad day.
Don't even have words. I don't have words. Thank you, Astrid. Send all the prayers. Thanks, Neil, for that high low light. Grace, what's your highlight for this week?
Okay. So if you know anything about me, you know that from my early childhood, I've been in love with one Justin Drew Bieber. I love Justin Bieber. I've loved him since I knew to love celebrities. I have no words. And you better not laugh at this. Nobody's allowed to laugh. I mean, we're all allowed to do what we want because theologically the Methodist Church ascribes to free will, probably. But please don't laugh at me. Justin Bieber has been through the ringer in the industry in so many horrible ways. And so he hasn't performed for a while. But these past 2 weekends, he had, and I had the time of my life. I watched the one that happened last night. Except because of the time difference, I watched it at 4 a.m. live. I don't play about Justin Drew Bieber. I do not play about Biebercella. But basically, if like depending on how like online y'all are, you might have seen on the internet that he got in a lot of hot water from last week, because people were saying that he like played in people's faces by like pulling up YouTube videos and like screen sharing. And so he was just like singing along to old YouTube videos of his early music. But the thing is that people don't like to get all the information before they form an internet opinion. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? That was like 15 minutes of a 90-minute set that he did that. And it was a fan service. And there's this moment when he was singing Beauty and a Beat last week when he remembered that he's Justin frickin' Bieber. And he like switched from like recently he's been singing in his like low register, so he's like, show you tonight. But then he switched up and he was like, what you got? And it was just like it was so good. It was so good. I love him. And like you see him kind of like coming back into himself, and there were these really beautiful moments where he was singing along to like he started on YouTube. He posted little videos of him covering like I'm blanking now, but he like covered some music when he was on YouTube, and he did a couple of them last week. He did one of them last night. And there's these really beautiful moments where he's like turned around and he has the microphone and he's like just watching himself, like watching baby Bieber. But this week he had the best time. And like something about Coachella is like the first weekend tends to be the influencer weekend, and then the second weekend tends to be like the just normal people like fan weekend. And so last week the vibes were fine but not great. And this weekend Justin Bieber was like the crowd was there for Bieber, and the crowd was giving him the hype that he deserved, because he has just like I could write so many dissertations on the life and art of Justin Bieber. But the specific link that I have, it is so Billie Eilish has been a Bieber fan her whole life as well. And so like throughout like the years, like they've connected, and he's like, call me when you like need like music advice or like just like mentorship type things. And so they're buddies. But this specific clip, Justin Bieber used to do a thing in concert. It's from his first album. One of his songs is One Less Lonely Girl. And so he would like, that's when he would pull up a fan on stage, and then she was the one less lonely girl of the night. And she would sit in a chair and he would like sing to her, and she'd get like flowers and different stuff. And he hasn't done that in a long time. And because he hasn't performed. And so this time it was going to be his wife, Hailey Bieber / Hailey Baldwin. But Billie Eilish was there. And so Hailey like pulled Billie, and she was like, no, you go do it. And so Hailey basically like dragged Billie on to do it. And Billie just like lost her mind, because like it was this beautiful, like, one that meant so much to Billie, but also it was like she was representative of all of the fangirls who got to be the one less lonely girl. So it's beautiful. So that's what that specific link is. And I've talked a lot, but I'm so happy. Like I was like screaming in my bed at 4 a.m. I was like shaking. I was like gonna cry. It just like, it healed something in me to see him get to, like, it genuinely healed something in me to see him get to perform this music that he was just like a means and a cog in the machine, and used in so many horrific ways over so many years. And like we see his struggles, we see some of his struggles, we don't see all of it, but he healed and we got to see him heal, and it was just really beautiful. So that's my highlight of the weeks.
There is something about knowing that you love this so much that brings me in. So I appreciate it, Grace. I'm not sure I will ever be a Bieber fan, but because I am a Grace fan, I will give this a listen.
Derek Scott promises to watch Bieberchella.
I did kind of promise that, didn't I? I did.
A little bit. I can curate some clips for you at some point. You don't have to watch.
That would be helpful. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing tonight, Grace. Taylor, what's your highlight this week?
Yes. So my highlight, so like when I do highlight, I tend to be like on the positive side, because we all did some positiveness. And looking around on the lovely thing called internet. I saw this story that I posted about. Well, no, I saw another story that I forgot about. I could have posted about, but we landed on this one. So, this, I don't know if you guys have heard this story before, but there's this 60-year-old Domino's driver, and he was working one day, like in the end of March in Idaho, and they were making a delivery order to people, and the people that ordered were looking for a soda, but the Domino's store, it was a Domino's order, they did not have the soda. So what the delivery driver decided to do was go to a nearby store and go buy a soda for these people and bring it with them along the pizza. It's so cute. And upon reading more of the article, it's a Today Show article thing. I found out, and what I think really put the icing on the cake was that both of the people that ordered, it was a husband and wife duo, they have retinitis pigmentosa, which I don't know if you know what that means, but it just means that you become blind, like your cells in your eyes start to degrade over time. So meaning that you will be blind and you will suffer from vision loss at some time. So I think that just really like set the whole story that even though these people have these kind of disabilities, and yes, the driver didn't know that, but he still went out of this way to fulfill the order, but also use his own money to do it. It's just really cute. So yeah, this they've raised over $150,000 on a GoFundMe for the delivery driver. So it's just a great story. I'm glad I caught my eye on it. So that's my highlight.
Love it.
Wait.
Yeah.
So the I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I guess the delivery driver had worked there at Domino's for 14 years, and he said that he was retiring in 26 days. So that meant why they raised so much money, so he could retire and have a good lump sum. Okay, that's my point. The end.
Thank you, Taylor. That's a highlight. That's a highlight. It just shows that like humanity, there's still a little bit of good in humanity. There's a lot of good in humanity, and we need to be reminded there's a lot of good in humanity. All right, so I'm gonna open my door because Julian is being annoying, and then I'm gonna tell you my highlight. So give me a minute. Sorry, I apologize. He's being so annoying, as he is normally on any given day, and then he runs away from the door because I opened it.
Derek, I feel like if Velcro is the mascot for, or was the mascot for Annex, like Julian is the mascot for Live.
I
He
guess.
agrees. He agrees.
I thought my cat would make an appearance, but not yet, so we'll see.
So annoying. So annoying. He's just screaming right now. Okay, my highlight this week is pinging a highlight from a couple weeks about Project Hail Mary, which is this movie, and the update that I wanted to share today is that it is where my notes go. Oh no, where my notes go? Sorry guys, this is not helpful. There it is, right there. Okay, so Project Hail Mary, it is not gonna get streamed anytime soon because it is doing so well in the theaters. Now, I just want to say I brought this highlight because it is a good movie. I do think you should see it. I am not determining our friendship based on it, though I do have friends that still have not seen Sinners, and I don't know how I'm even still talking to them. And I do have friends who have not seen Conclave, and like, I'm not trying to be smarter than you, but when you don't see a movie that like is going to increase your intellectual capacity, what do you want me to do? So this is not one of those. Project Hail Mary is not one of those. It's just a good movie. Grace is just a great character. Rocky is heartwarming, and like the fact that Rocky, like there are signs of Rocky now invading the culture, and you have to go see the movie to know what I'm talking about. But like, it's amazing. Like it's out there, and like it's kind of cute. And so let me just ask in this panel, who's seen Project Hail Mary? Who's seen it? Okay. So Neil, Taylor, I just want to invite you. Our friendship's not on the line. Everything's gonna be fine. But I think you should see it. I think you should see it. And part of it is that the director just feels like, and many of the producers as well, it is a movie theater movie. It is not. They don't think it's really a movie that you should see like just like at home with like a regular screen. I might agree with them. So I submit, it has made $523 million worldwide box office so far. So it's a good movie. I think it's particularly because everything else is just so rough. This is just a good movie to go see. I think it is. So with that, good highlights. Julian's right here being super annoying. I should have put him in the garage. What was I thinking? So great highlights. Thanks, friends. And we'll have all the highlights more than likely in Instagram tomorrow, so you can check it out. Thanks, Allison, for all you do. And with that, we're going to go to we've got announcements. So let's go to announcements. All right. So the only announcement that I know about, oh gosh, am I still here? Oh boy. Okay, because my computer's doing something weird. The only announcement I know about tonight is that we are having community group. Message in if you'd like to be there. I'm going to talk a little bit about Emmaus, Jesus on the road to Emmaus. That's going to be really cool, really good. So hope you'll join us about 6:45. We'll gather. We'll share highs and lows, and we'll be together. It'll be really good. So hope that you'll join us for community group after we're done with live. And now we're going to go to one of our regular recurring segments, which is called Words from the World. Words from the World is our segment where someone on the panel shares a news story or some topic to raise awareness and to get us thinking in the Studio Wesley universe. I get to be that person today, and I'm happy to share. It's an article that we're hopefully going to drop in the comments as well. But essentially, it's an article so the BBC did an interview with one of the creators of the Iran Lego videos. I don't know if you've seen them in social media, but there have been these Lego videos that have been created sort of in the Lego video kind of genre that have been created. It's using AI to do this. I'm pretty sure some have called it slopaganda because it's kind of like propaganda from the Iranian side of the war. And I'm not trying to make light of the war at all. In fact, in a moment, you're going to see why I think it's really important for us to talk about this. But this Lego AI slopaganda, thanks so much, Zach, for getting that up. I thought it was an interesting thing for us to talk about because I think it's intersecting a bunch of different things that I thought it'd be good for us to just discuss a little bit. So this article that's been posted in the comments, the BBC did an interview with the person from the media company that's been creating these videos on behalf of the Iranian regime. He calls himself, or they call themselves, Mr. Explosive from Explosive Media. And it was just a back and forth conversation about the videos and about why they're partnered with, or why the Iranian government is a vendor, is a customer of this media company. And these videos have been going viral. They have been and in some respects, people are getting their updates on what's happening in the war from these videos. And so there's a bunch of intersections here that I wanted to sort of lift up. One is just the fact that every country is framing this war in a way that sort of makes them look good, makes them look like they're the right ones, the righteous ones. And so that's exactly what Iran is doing, and doing that specifically through these videos. But the piece that I thought was interesting, and this is one of two things that I'll raise tonight, this war, which is the war that against the US and Israel and Iran, that many believe is illegal. I tend to agree with them on that. Don't at me, just telling you where my position is. You get to have your position. But this is an interesting war because it's almost like the war is as much being fought on the ground as it's being fought inside of the media landscape. And I'm watching just the ways that, again, this slopaganda is as much a part of Iran's sort of response to the US and Israel as anything else. And it feels new to me. And I being an older person in the Studio Wesley space, I've lived through a few other acts of aggression, and I lived through 9/11. We were definitely not living online in 2001 the way that we live online today. But even more so, like the ways that these videos are sort of speaking for the Iranian government and speaking to the US government. It's an interesting dynamic of an unfortunate situation. So let me just stop there and invite my friends to just comment there. Like, what does that feel like? What is that? And I don't know if y'all have seen these videos. I'll just say, like, they're actually really clever. I gotta be honest, these videos are really clever and they're really pointed. And I mean, I do think that they have done some damage in the social media side to the U.S. officials and the U.S. officials that they've targeted. So where are y'all at? Like, maybe I'm just the nerd over here thinking about this stuff, but Neil, Taylor, Grace, what are y'all thinking about these Lego videos coming from, on behalf of the Iranian regime?
It's such like an interesting vehicle through which to try to get your point across, more or less. Like I'm a Lego fan, right? Like I was as a child, still am as an adult or whatever it is that I am, even though I haven't really bought any for myself for a hot minute. But it's just the whole us as a society and as a world right now, honestly, just kind of using AI as like a quick shortcut for things is maybe the most bothersome part. And also the fact that they're using like these kind of faux Lego things. It's like, who are you trying to get this to? You know, it's like what is your audience here for it? Is I guess my main thing, you know what I mean? It's like, but also just being on behalf of the Iranian regime, it's like, I don't know. And there's so many other like political layers too, but even just like on a surface level, it's like, why did they choose like AI Lego? You know, like who sat down and goes, yeah, guys, AI Lego, this is the way to do it. That it just seems, I don't know, odd is the best way I can put it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, I agree. I think like it's scary. I don't know how. I feel like I like start every sentence on here with I don't know how online y'all are, but some years ago when like deep fakes got to be a bigger thing, that was really like scary for me and stressful. Because it's like, okay, now we more easily have access to the technology where you can put someone's face on anything. You can then by video make anyone do anything. And the better the technology gets, the harder it's going to be to figure out if that's real or not. Mm-hmm. And so I think like I'm going to phrase this in a very respectful way. In light of the fact that I am both surprised and not by many of the comments that come from governmental authorities, and I question if it's real, but then like it is. In a world of AI and fake things, it's just very scary to know that, like, first off, the things that are happening and like some of the videos that we're getting are real. And then it's also terrifying to think like what, and like we've seen plenty of AI posts from many spaces that it's just scary. But then from an opposite perspective too, or maybe not an opposite perspective, but like looking at it through a different lens, I'm fascinated by the effectiveness of propaganda, you know? And so like something like this, it's clever. I hate the fact that it's AI and like generative AI, and that it is depicting, like, there are many things that concern me about it. And also fascinating, just the way that, like, from like I don't know if it would be like, I guess like an anthropological sense, like if we're like pulling this, like maybe not anthro, but like some sort of people study
Anthropomorphic,
of, like, it's just fascinating. Maybe not, no, like a ethnographic, maybe, I don't know the right term for it, but like some sort of people study of like what was propaganda like during World War II, how has propaganda changed. Derek, you mentioned 9/11, like how has propaganda changed since then, like how does propaganda shift, and what have been effective and meaningful and like crowd moving attempts at propaganda. And so I wish I could just look at it from an external lens, but like this is the world that we live in, so we cannot ethically look at it from an external lens. But yeah, it's terrifying and kind of fascinating, but mostly horrifying. So
Thanks, Grace. Taylor, any thoughts you've got?
I agree with Neil and Grace, and you, Derek. Like the fact that, like, again, bring it up, but like again, the fact that it is AI itself, it's got like real people, like you're not, like, you don't know what to believe. Like, you don't know if it is real. Like, we know that it is fake now, but like if we didn't even know that it was AI, and we saw that it was these videos, and we saw that, go back, and we didn't know that it was AI, and we just saw the videos like randomly on the internet, and we saw that it was something that, like, the main tool being used in the form of Legos is something that all generations know and love. Like, it could be like middle schoolers who could watch this. It could be senior citizens that like know and watch like Legos. Like, everybody loves it. So now that when they see like something like this, and they understand like what's coming from and what they're trying to say, they're gonna look at Legos, that whole like franchise or whatever is gonna be like look at a whole different lens. So this is probably hurting like more than one thing. When it could probably hurt the Lego franchise too. So I think it's kind of like doing a lot more hurt, because like it's just not really like shedding a good light on it. But yeah.
Taylor, thanks for that. You know, it leads my next point, and we can go quick on this. The thing that I wrestle with in this is that I think y'all know me well enough. Like I don't really like anything. I don't like anything in media as much as I'm just aware that it's there, and it's to me it's a legitimate space by which I need to be aware of and I need to pay attention to. But liking it's not even. But that's not a question I asked. What do I like it? Like that's not what I'm asking. However, I can't act like it like these videos get tons of views and people share them and a lot of Americans like them. And so, and in addition to probably people all over the planet, but definitely Americans, US citizens. And so my question is like, we know that it's okay to like, you can both support your country and not support a war that your country is engaging in. Like that is, we have established that it is okay to be a conscientious objector in war. But can you like the propaganda from the other side? And like, is that what is that? Like, what does that mean? Like to be like, because I'm not gonna lie, these are clever videos. Like the ways that they are imaging for them their enemy, it's clever. It catches your attention. I get why people are watching it and liking it and sharing it, and then also why YouTube is shutting it down, right? So like what does it mean for a US citizen in this moment? And again, like the Iranian regime is not like this like star regime. Like they have a ton of atrocities on their hands and in their history. So yeah, what do we think about the fact that this propaganda is popular?
I think I said this a few, you guys brought up some interesting points. And I'm going to revisit something I said a while back about AI, is that I'm not sure, and, like whether it be like AI propaganda, like whatever it is, right? I'm not sure who the internet has done more damage to at this point. Like whether it be older folks or younger folks, right? Because it feels like, it's like it feels like it is damaging younger people's sense of critical thinking, and old folks are just to the point of seeing anything and just going, well, I saw it on the Google, or I read it on the Google, or I watched a video about it. It's like whenever a lady came into my distillery and goes, oh, I don't know, gin causes Alzheimer's, I read it on the Google. And it's like, it's things like that, or it's like these other like AI like videos, like Facebook especially, like, I mean, Instagram is pretty bad about it too, and obviously it's the same company, right? It's both Meta. But the things that I see some of my older relatives like sharing, it's like, they will quite literally believe anything. They will see an article saying whatever fact, and they're like, well, look at that. It's like it's ridiculous, and but then it's tough, and going back to what Grace said about like deep fakes. Like I saw a video where this guy had a scammer, and the scammer was on the phone with, like, on a video call with him, but he had like an AI model on the video call. And the thing he did to test him, he was like, yeah, just can you just hold 3 fingers in front of your face for me? Because AI models don't know how to do that. And the model like kept trying to like do this or something like that. And it's like, yeah, but no, just hold it in front of your face. And it's just doing it off to the side. And like, I don't know, like the fact that all this is like popular is just interesting. Yeah. And the idea of like liking propaganda like from the other side, and the idea that we are at a point now where the other side, like, because I'm pretty sure like in World War II, propaganda was dropping flyers, and also just people infiltrating your government and whatnot. I mean, the Nazi party had rallies at Madison Square Garden, I'm pretty sure, like at some point. And so now, in all the way in year of our Lord 2026, propaganda looks like Lego AI videos being posted on the internet is quite a turn. I'm not really sure if that answered your question, Derek. I think I went off and started chasing rabbits, but
No,
these things that popped into my brain.
And we've just got a couple of minutes left in this segment, so I'll give Grace and Taylor a moment to. But again, it is all of these rabbit trails too, right? Grace, Taylor, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think in terms of what does it mean to like the propaganda of the other side, or like to appreciate it, or have any fill in the blank opinion about it instead of this is the enemy side so we hate it, like having any sort of not that opinion, I think speaks to one, a sense of like personal assessment and a sense of like, oh, like I'm actually going to consider many things at play here instead of a nationalist like, oh, well, I'm part of this country, so obviously I have to hate everything else. You know, like it speaks to people being willing to assess something for themselves and like make a personal thought about it, to make their own thought instead of asking AI what their thoughts are too. Sorry. And then like, and this is just my opinion, but I think like it says a lot about where we're at if people in a certain country support the propaganda of a country that they're at war with. I think that says a lot about the state of a nation if its own people have some sort of positive opinion about something else. Yeah, that's the way that I'll say that.
Taylor, I'm gonna let you have the last word.
Yeah, I think that like people are gonna take anything and make anything out of something, even if it's like very like it doesn't take a long time to make. They're just gonna make it look like feasible so it could like please people. But I think on Grace's point, like along with Grace's point of like the self-assessment, you just have to really see like, do you want to believe this? You don't have to believe it, but do you want to believe it? And like you just have to like establish your own opinion and your own side of it. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation we had tonight. Again, I bring it up because I think this is a part of our culture. And Neil, as you said, like once upon a time, the way the propaganda came to us for flyers dropped from airplanes. Now it's AI propaganda, and it is. And there's always been an element of people within our nation agreeing with the people that we are at war with. Like that's always great. That's always been there. And so I wonder what those trends mean as well. And therefore it does land that at some point, Taylor, we have to make our own informed decisions about what we're going to do, not just in geopolitical situations. And we've talked about knowing more about Iran specifically, but the world more broadly. And with all of this new technology, what is that? What are we going to do with it? So thanks for this conversation. Friends, thanks for watching and being a part of it as well. Ashworth, let's see you in your comments. Appreciate you. Let's take a few seconds for a soul break, and then we'll come back to finish up. It's been a good show tonight. As we're ending, I want to point us to a passage of scripture. It's the gospel text for this week, Luke 24. It's a story of Jesus on the other side of the resurrection, walking with two disciples to Emmaus. The thing that's interesting about this story is that they don't recognize Jesus as they're walking towards Emmaus. In fact, they get all the way to Emmaus, and you can read the story in Luke 24, but they get all the way to Emmaus. They sit down and have a meal. It's only when they have this meal that they realize that it's Jesus. They've had long conversations, and Jesus has been talking about the prophets and the law with them, but they don't recognize him until they break bread together. And there's so many things that we can take away from this story, and I would even suggest that these disciples are probably experiencing a lot of chaos in this moment, just internally in the world that they're living in. Their Savior was crucified in front of them, and they've heard rumors of him being alive, but again, they don't recognize that it's him. And here's what I would say to us, friends, that in this season that we're in, this moment that we're in, where there's just a lot of chaos, like there's a lot of chaos like in the world, but I imagine for some of us, our actual lives, like just our individual lives, waking up day to day, may not be exactly the way we want them to. And the word might be chaos. It may just simply be, not that it's simple, but disruption, change, to the point that it's hard to see where God is in the moment. It's hard to see that God is actually walking with us in the midst of all of this change, disruption, chaos, disappointment. But I want to invite you to consider that maybe, just maybe, Jesus is actually walking with us right now. And not being able to recognize where Jesus is does not mean that Jesus isn't there. It just means we can't recognize him. And so maybe this week you could pray and ask God for eyes to see, spiritual eyes to see where God is at work among you, where God is already doing things, where God's grace and God's love and God's mercy and God's peace is actually around you. And I'll just say that I did that last week. Last week felt very disruptive on a lot of levels for me personally. Everything's fine, guys. It was just one of those weeks where it's like, what is happening? And I asked for the Holy Spirit to give me eyes to see, to open the eyes of my heart so that I could see what God was doing around me. And I began to see the people that God's placed in my life to come alongside me, the things that God has been doing that I've just sort of discounted as just, well, that's just that thing, or that's just that occurrence. No, I actually now think that this is actually God at work in my life. I'll be honest, even tonight, hanging out here in Studio Wesley Live is this interesting grace for me of the people who are part of Studio Wesley who are just helping make things happen. And so, and even Julian is a weird grace, y'all. Like, it's weird. I want to invite you to consider that even if you can't see Jesus walking among you, like the disciples on the way to Emmaus, he is there. He is there. And so let's pray for the eyes of our hearts to be enlightened, that we might see the ways that God is at work among us. I pray that it is so for you this week. I want to thank my panel for being so with it and engaged, Neil and Grace and Taylor. Thank you, Zach, for doing work in the background. We see you. And folks watching both live and later on in the week, thanks so much. We will be back next Sunday, 6 p.m. for Studio Wesley Live. Until then, we'll see you, friends, and join us for community group in a moment. All right, see you. Bye.